So this is a time to just allow yourself to switch from your normal mode of doing and move and react to just simply being. And be attentive to what's happening within your awareness right here, right now. And as you sit, just notice the sensations of breath. Notice how your abdomen moves on each in-breath and out-breath. The movement of air through your nostrils, a slight movement of chest and shoulders. Bring your awareness to your breath cycle, and wherever it is the most vivid, whether it be in your tummy, your chest, your shoulders, or just the movement of air through your nostrils. Noticing the entirety of breath from the movement of the air coming in and filling the lungs and extending the abdomen slightly, the movement of air going out, and being aware of the pause, the stopping point in between the in-breath and the out-breath, and the out-breath and the next in-breath. It's all one movement, even though the changing of directions. Just notice where the pause is. Seeing to what degree you can be aware of your whole entire cycle of breath. You'll notice your attention from time to time shifting away from the breath. The mind may wander into fantasies, memories, thoughts of the day, worries that you may have, the things that you do not need. Without giving yourself a hard time, when you notice that this happens, gently but firmly bring your attention back to the sensations of breathing. Being aware of where the mind goes, gently shift your awareness to sensations of breath. And notice if you have a tendency to control your breathing. Let the quality of attention be light and easy, just one of simply observing and noticing. Just as if you were on a float on a gentle sea, where you're up with one wave and down with the next. You don't control the duration of the wave or the depth between the waves. Just ride the waves. And allow yourself just to continue observation of your breath and do nothing but ride the waves of the breath. And you can just slowly allow yourself to drift back into the here and now as you ease out of the seated meditation, or if you're lying on your back. And if any of you were in Shavasana, I don't think any of you were. I'm scrolling through. Just come on back up onto your seat. And then we'll begin our yin practice. So I'm gonna bring everyone into a butterfly position, and we're gonna come into a forward fold. So you're gonna just bring the legs in front, soles of the feet to touch. And remember, you can keep a wide diamond shape in your yin style of the butterfly position. You don't have to bring the heels of the feet in super close to the body. So once you have your legs positioned, we want to be able to just soften through the inner thigh, let go of trying to lift through the knees, let gravity do its job, and then you can begin to work your way into a forward fold. So I'm going to kind of reiterate the 4 principles of yin yoga now that I have you in your first pose. So, of course, the intention of the pose, so the pose itself, and then we want to be able to relax the target area of the stretch. So the main target areas of the stretch in our butterfly position with the forward fold is going to be the inner thigh into the groin. You may even feel it into the outer hip area and the low spine, the low back area, the low lumbar, maybe even into your sacrum space. So that's our number 1 principle. And then you want to come to your edge. So in yin, we don't want to go from 0 to 10 automatically, unless it's more of you don't really feel a sensation in the target area and it's maybe more of a maintenance pose. So you want to feel a stretch intensity from a 2 to 4 on a scale of 10. Now, the longer we hold the pose, you're going to be able to free up some tension in the space and maybe find a little more depth going forward into the forward fold. And then we want to be relatively still for relatively long periods of time. But if at any point you need to come out of the pose before I call time or in the posture, then you need to honor what your body is asking you to do. You can just always come back to the awareness of your breath. Once you've settled into the pose itself, and then the final principle is we want to enter and exit out of each pose slowly. So as I bring you into the posture, you want to enter it slowly. When we come out, you want to move it slowly out of the pose as well. I'm going to have you begin to rise from your forward fold once again, easy and slow. And then once you're upright, take an opportunity to feel sensations in the body. We'll do a little counter stretch. So you can come onto the palms of your hands to do windshield wiper. So as you recline back onto the palms of the hands, easy does it. Windshield wiper the legs from side to side a couple of times. Just a little counter stretch. And then we're going to make our way into sleeping swan, but I'm going to give any of you the alternative that would prefer not to do sleeping swan. You can come on your backs and do thread the needle. So from hands and knees, we'll extend left leg behind and then sweep left knee in and through to the left wrist. Release down onto the top of the right leg. If you have a folded blanket or any of the props you've brought to your mat with you and you need to elevate the left hip, place a blanket, books, stacked books, anything that'll help relieve any tension to level out the hip space for you. Once you have your lower half of the body positioned, walk hands forward, surrender downward. So those of you preferring to come onto your backs to do thread the needle, you'll just have knees to the sky, cross left knee over the right leg, and bend the right knee in towards the body. You take a hold of the back of the leg with the hands or loop them around and grab a hold of the top of the right leg. So you have that variation available if you prefer. So we're still targeting the same area of the body in either variation. Once again, just let the breath work help you ease and release and soften into the pose. If you're in a thread the needle on your back, make sure you're letting allow the shoulders to release and soften down. Try not to hunch and round the shoulders up as you grab the leg. So easy does it. Take your time as you release into either posture. And those of you in sleeping swan, you want to let go if you're trying to squeeze or use the muscles anywhere in the body, especially the right leg, the leg that's extended lengthways away from the body. So soft through the knee joint. Feel the stretch deep into the outer hip, the left leg, left side of the body. May even feel it into the hamstring. Think of letting go in the pose to allow yourself to go beyond stretching the muscle to the connective tissue, the fascia, the ligaments, what attaches the muscles to the bones, stretching deep into every joint of the body with each pose we take. All right, you can slowly begin to make your way up from the forward fold. It's like all of you are in sleeping swan that I can see that don't have yourselves not videoing through. So if you're in perhaps the thread the needle, you can just release legs down to the earth, and we'll go opposite side. So once again, back up to hands and knees for sleeping swan. We'll go to the right side with that knee forward. So extend right leg behind you, right knee sweeps in and through to the right wrist. Once again, position prompts where you may need to level out the hips. And once you have the lower half of the body situated, you can just begin to walk hands forward, bow downward. And then if you're electing to do thread the needle, you'll switch legs, right leg over left. Bend the knees in towards the body. And once again, take a hold of the legs with the hands to bend the knees in close. Again, bring your awareness to the sensations in the body. So check in, make sure you're soft through the target area of the stretch. Right outer hip, soft through the extended leg behind you, your left leg. All right, and you can slowly begin to make your way up from the forward fold. And then if you happen to be on your back and thread the needle, release the legs. And then we're going to now come into Sphinx pose. So if you are on your back, make your way up to hands and knees. Join everyone else there in hands, knees. And then slowly release all the way down onto your belly for Sphinx pose. So you can keep arms flat in front of you, fingers spread wide onto the earth. I'm just demonstrating for the video more upright for you. Or you can bring the palms of your hands together. So you want everything resting on the earth, but this takes pressure out of the shoulders if you bring palms together. So traditional Sphinx arms forward, fingers spread wide, palms to the earth. And then once you're down into the position, just kind of check in. You want to have the elbows stacked under the shoulders or just slightly forward. Soft through the shoulders, just let them ease and release down. Head position, you can bring the chin in a little closer to the chest if that feels best. So just kind of angle your head with what feels appropriate in your neck. And then we want to soften through our low back, through the legs, glute muscles. So this is a deep low back stretch position posture. All right, you can slowly release all the way down. You can stack arms, rest either cheek on top of the arms or your forehead. If it feels good, maybe take some motion into the hips. You can rock them side to side, windshield wiper the legs out. So any counter movement as you come out of the pose that feels good. All right, and then you can come back to stillness. And we're gonna have some fun here while we're down on the ground. We're gonna actually bring a little deeper stretch into the arms and the shoulders. So you're gonna remain like you would in your Sphinx pose, but we're gonna take eagle arms. So you're gonna wrap, you can wrap right over left first or left over right. We'll switch it out. So I'll cue you to switch. So wherever you wanna start, that's fine. So continuing in your pose, wrap into eagle arms. So the arm that's on bottom will rest on the earth. And then you can kind of just release through your head, your neck, let your head rest on your arms. So this is just a great way to prop the eagle arms onto a surface to get a deeper stretch into the backs of the arms, into the backs of the shoulders. You may feel the sensation in other places, but this would be the main target area we're going for. And then once you have your arms positioned, once again, I'm not rushing you, easy does it. Then come back into the lower half of the body. So we're still actually getting a back bend stretch as we remain in this position, not necessarily as deep as you felt it with the arms propped to the earth in the Sphinx arms, but we're still stretching into the low back space. So soft through your legs, soft through your glutes. So we'll just do a minute on each position of the arms. So you got about another 30 seconds in this position, and then we'll switch it out. All right, and so you can find your way to unwrap and make sure you wrap opposite arm on top, opposite arm on the bottom. All right, you can unwrap your eagle arms. Take that complete forward bow to the earth. Any movement, once again, in the body, counter stretch, counter movement. And then take your time as you come back to hands and knees. And we're gonna come into melting heart pose next. So a melting heart from hands and knees, you can keep hips stacked over the knees, or you can shift the hips a little more forward if it's too much pressure on the tops of the knees. So arms are gonna walk forward just as the heart melts to the earth as the pose is called. Forehead comes to rest on the earth as well. So we're doing a lot of the Past couple of poses we've done, really stretching into the arms and the shoulders. Figured everybody could use that with as being a little more stable at home and probably on electronics a little more than we typically would be. And from here, we're going to transition into a child's pose. So just ease your way, your choice of child's pose. You can have legs together, bow forward, hug it all in. You can come into more of that tadpole position and yin, as we call it, with the legs wide, arms extend forward and surrender down. So make it yours. If you have pillows or blanket stack and you want to make it even a little more restorative, you can allow yourself to rest down onto your blanket. Some of you may have a bolster at home, but whatever you have available, pillows, blankets, bolster. So this is, at this point, more of like a resonance pose, a counter pose. We'll remain here for a couple of minutes just to let the chi, the energy in the body, any of that stale, dormant energy you've unleashed, just be able to flow through the body. And slowly make your way up out of your child's pose. We'll come back to hands and knees. We're going to journey into dragon pose next. So dragon pose would be what we consider in yin one of the more sensational rich poses, one of the more yang-like poses. So you're going to come onto hands and knees. We'll step left foot forward first, and I'm going to show you some variations you can take for your dragon pose. So you want to bring both palms of the hands to the inside of the left leg. You want to shift your hips forward. So we don't want to stack hips. We want to shift forward to deepen the stretch into the top of that right leg. So from here, you can hang out. If you want to go a little deeper into the pose, you can come onto your forearms. If you want to bring a little bit more of a twist, you can go into twisted dragon, where you then rotate the left foot to the outside blade. You can press left hand to the inside of the leg. I'll turn to face you. So those of you who may not be as familiar with the pose, this is what a twisted dragon would look more like. So you have the options, the variations here. You can remain here. If that becomes too much, you can even just come upright, but make sure you shift the hips forward. Once again, we want to feel the stretch and the right side into maybe the groin area. You feel the sensation a little bit, but definitely the top of the right leg, thigh muscle into the quad. You may even feel it in your hamstring a little bit as you shift the hips away from the legs. This is one of those poses, if you need to subtly adjust or shift, if the sensation becomes too much, then honor what the body is asking you. You can slowly bring yourself back to hands and knees, where we'll reset to take it to the opposite side. So we'll bring right leg forward, and then palms to the inside of the right leg. Shift, lean, extend forward. So once again, feel the stretch in the extended leg. The inner groin of your front leg as you position wherever you want to go. If you want to go into more of that twisted position, you can remain here. Or if you want to come deeper into that low flying dragon position, as you rest the arms on the earth. Maybe begin to notice the sensation. Do you feel the hip flexors, the quadriceps of the back leg being stretched? There's sensation there, inner groin of your front leg, maybe even the hamstring of your front leg, the outer hip a little. All right, and you can reset back to hands and knees. Good job. As I watch all of you, everybody was making, that I can see, Nanette, was making a transition and playing with the pose, which leads me to believe you're really in tune with your body, what felt awkward, what felt best, and you all looked amazing in the pose. And like I said, that really shows me you're tuning in to what the body is saying. All right, so we're going to come down onto our seat for caterpillar pose next. So before we go there, I'm going to actually toss y'all another little resonance pose. We're going to come onto our back for a little bit of a shavasana. So just be here for a moment. I won't even set the timer, but when we come out of the sensation-rich poses, those more spicy poses, sometimes it feels really good to come on our back, either into shavasana or take a child's pose. So I'm going to bring you into the shavasana position. This is something I recently learned in some teacher training I did, that it's nice to throw in these resonance poses in the practice. It can be a little more challenging when it's just a 60-minute practice, but this will be a 75-minute practice today, so we're going to kind of indulge here. You can allow yourself to roll to either side to slowly press your way up. Easy does it, take your time. And then once you're upright, we'll come into caterpillar pose. So legs are just going to fully extend forward. If you want to have a pillow, a folded blanket underneath your knees to keep the knee joints soft, you can use the props underneath your knees. stack books here, or if you have a bolster or a block at home, can also be incorporated. So we'll release into a forward fold. Easy does it. Maybe come about halfway as you allow the body to soften and release deeper into the pose. So books or blocks you can use underneath your forehead if you like having something to ground your head on. You don't have to, it's just available there for you if you need it. So once you've released about halfway into the pose, begin to feel, once again, this target area of the body. So we're stretching a lot of the back side of the body in this pose. So the calf muscles, the hamstrings into the low back, and then all the way through the spine as you continue to bow forward into the posture. Soft through the legs, soft through your knee joints. If you feel a lot of strain or pressure in your low back, you can always sit up on a folded blanket as well to kind of help tilt the pelvis more forward to take some of that strain and pressure out of the low back. Allow yourself to slowly rise from your forward fold. Maybe stop about halfway. Once again, exit slowly. And once you've come all the way up, we're going to bend knees to the sky and release onto our backs for a happy baby or stirrup pose, as sometimes it's called, in yin. So you want to bend the knees in close to the body, grab a hold of the outside blades of the feet as the soles of the feet extend towards the sky. And then you want to soften through the low part of the body as you bend the knees in, but you are engaging the use of the arms to some degree, so that's okay to actually hold in the pose. So sometimes we do have to activate muscles in a portion of the body for certain postures. So this is a great stretch for the inner thighs into the groin space. You may feel it in the outer hip area as well. Maybe check in with your shoulders here too. If you feel like you're rounding them upward, just allow them to soften and anchor back down towards the earth. All right, and you can slowly release the feet back down onto the earth. And then we're going to come into seagrass pose next. I don't think any of you that I see, I don't think any of you are positioned by a wall where if you wanted to do legs up the wall, you could. So we're just going to remain on our backs. And seagrass pose is the same as we call waterfall pose in our yang class. So you're just going to fully extend legs up towards the sky. You don't have to point or flex the feet, but you can make any movement in them that feels good, and then just kind of let the feet rest there. So this will be our inversion pose, and it does stretch once again into the back line of the body, the back side of the legs. Allow the soles of your feet to return to the earth. Now we're going to come into a supine spinal twist next. So I'm going to have all of you roll onto the left side of your body, just like you would be in a fetal position, but don't rest on your arms. Arms are just going to come out to the sides. So we'll build into the pose with the legs first. You can keep knees stacked, or you can come into twisted root, where you wrap the right leg over the left. And then once you have the legs positioned in a yin-like manner, we're gonna just ease our right shoulder off to the right side of the body. Right arm will extend away, coming into more of that T-shaped position with the arms. So rest, relax, anchor the right shoulder downward. If it makes contact, that's great. In yin, you know, if you need something underneath it, it's appropriate. Place a prop, a folded blanket, a pillow, anything you need to allow it just to soften and release and have some connection to something if that feels better in the pose. Allow yourself to roll back to center on your mat. Take your time, easy does it. And then we'll fully roll to the right side, just like coming into a fetal position. This is just a yin-like manner to build into the pose. So if you're gonna twisted root, left leg will wrap around right. You can keep knees stacked. And then once you have your legs positioned, slowly roll your left shoulder off into the direction of the left side of the body. Once again, position the arms in a comfortable manner, T-shaped arms. Soft, easy does it as the left shoulder releases down. Prop underneath you if you need it. Allow yourself to return back to center on your mat. If you're in twisted root or legs wrapped, release the legs. Everyone hug the knees in close to the chest, rock from side to side. Press your low back into the earth. Give yourself a nice massage. We really focused and targeted the entire body today. We did a lot of upper body, stretching the arms, the shoulders, low back, the back side of the body, hamstrings, inner thigh, hips. And then we will release into Shavasana pose. So a nice lengthy Shavasana here as the final pose of the practice. If you have a blanket, you can cover up with a blanket. If you have pillows, you can use a pillow underneath your head or propped up underneath your knees. So just get yourself positioned for your pose of Shavasana. And then just let your breath be natural and organic. So once you've made yourself into this full body earth connection, let go of trying to alter or change the breath. Just let it flow once again like a wave in and out of the body. Relax every inch of the body. All tension, stiffness, tightness. Let it melt and fade away. Just become one with the earth below that supports you. Allow peace and bliss to dwell within you. Slowly begin to reawaken your body, bring some movement, wiggle your fingers, your toes. Like taking a full body stretch, and you've got the space, arms overhead. And then you can slowly roll onto the right side of your body into a fetal position. And press through the palms of your hands. Slowly come upright into a comfortable seated cross-legged position. Allow your eyes to remain closed. And once you arrive there, bring your hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra prayer position. And take this opportunity to acknowledge and give yourself gratitude and appreciation for taking this time to nourish your mind, body, and spirit. I extend my gratitude to you for showing up on your mat today, sharing your Sunday morning practice with me. We'll seal our practice with one round of Om. Deep inhale for Om. And may the inner calm and peace you feel on your mat journey with you throughout the day off your mat. Let's all bring thumb knuckles to forehead center, bow to each other and say Namaste. Oh, thank you all so much. It's so good to have you here, especially during this time of uncertainty. So everybody just stay safe, stay well. I love each and every one of you all the way, Ohio, Atlanta, my St. Simon's crew. Love you all. Mwah.
Thank you, Sheri. Bye. Bye.
Bye.